Okay, guys, well, welcome back. We get to the part now where the really, the Cold War really intensifies and the fear of communism is really starting to spread through all over the country, and in some cases, really, all over the world. Here you see HUAC, which is the House Un-American Activities, House Committee on Un-American Activities, and of course, they are responsible for looking into un-American, which really means communist. Um, I don't really know why they didn't just come out and say communist activities, but I guess un-American is a broader term. It covers a lot more things. And believe it or not, these are actual sentiments that people had. Better dead than red. They'd rather die than be a communist. Seems a little extreme, but it made for good propaganda, certainly. So this was a congressional committee, again, to root out un-American activities. The Hollywood 10 were a group of people accused by HUAC. They were actually asked to testify. They were people who were directors, actors, and others in the Hollywood industry. They were supposedly the claim was that they were putting in secret communist messages in the film, and they were trying to, I guess, brainwash, or it's really hard to say, but I guess instead of having the American way and the good guy always triumphs, sort of thing, they sort of changed that, and according to HUAC, that they were putting in secret communist messages into films to try and I guess convince people to be communist. Now they did not cooperate. They're all, "What, are you kidding me? It's some kind of joke. We have First Amendment rights." And of course, unfortunately, they paid the price. They were put on the blacklist. And you can see here, film industry to ban all Reds, meaning again, communists. And blacklist in general is just a list that if you're on it, means that a particular industry won't hire you. In this case, it was the Hollywood film industry. And they were refused jobs because they did not cooperate with HUAC, and then that, of course, led people to believe that, well, the only reason they're not cooperating is because they must be communists. Um, Not exactly the greatest logic of all. Alger Hiss, he was a former State Department official, so high up in the government, in the federal government, accused of being a communist spy. And then we have Ethel and Julius Rosenberg. They were actually executed as spies. They were activists in the American Communist Party, and apparently they were stealing secrets and giving it to the Soviets. And we're pretty sure they were both guilty, although there's some people claim that Ethel Rosenberg wasn't really guilty, but it's really hard to say. And their execution, unfortunately, was very macabre. The electric chair didn't work properly for Ethel Rosenberg, and go ahead and look that up if you are interested. But there were people, as you can see, from Alger Hiss, and then from the Rosenbergs. There were spies, and it wasn't 100% all made up. There were some spies, certainly, but the idea, when you say, "Look, we caught the spy. They must be everywhere. If we only caught this one, then how many others are there?" So it does contribute to the sort of mania, and, sort of the hysteria that did grip the nation at this time. Then we have the famous communist hunter, Joseph McCarthy. He was a Republican senator from, I believe it was Wisconsin, actually, who claimed that communists were taking over the federal government. And he used people like Alger Hiss, and he used the Rosenbergs as an example. Say, "See, look, I was right, I was right, I was right." And the thing is, though, that McCarthy never really showed any evidence. He always would accuse people, say, "You're a communist, you're a communist." Well, do you have any evidence? And then just totally change the subject. And the idea of the term witch hunt really gained popularity here because the idea was, look, there might be one or two communists, but really you're looking for something that isn't there. Sure, there's going to be, our government has so many hundreds of thousands of people in it. There's going to be one or two that are going to be bad. That's just the way it is. But to suggest that they're all over the place and they're everywhere, that's, you're looking for something that isn't there. And eventually his popularity ran out, and you can see McCarthyism is treason to America. So McCarthyism is associated with thinking everyone's a communist and not having any evidence to back it up. And there's the actual term McCarthyism. And I always like these sort of pictures here, especially this one right here. Is this tomorrow? I mean, America under communism, and just all of a sudden, there's riots in the streets. People are strangling each other. The place is burning down. Um, and so it really is a term used to refer to the tactic of accusing people of disloyalty uh, and not providing any evidence. All right. Thanks so much.